You ever stop and think about the sheer magic that's happening every single time you browse the web? There's this invisible engine just humming away in the background that makes it all possible. It's a system we use literally every second of the day, but we almost never see it. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this thing really works.
I mean, it's a question you probably don't think about much, right? But the answer is pretty fascinating. It's not actually magic, but honestly, it's the next best thing. It's a system that works so perfectly, we just completely take it for granted.
And that really is the best way to think about it. Imagine trying to call a friend, but instead of just looking up their name, you had to remember their exact 10-digit phone number. Can you imagine? That's what the internet would be like without this system. A total mess.
All right, so let's dive into this digital phone book. It's called DNS.
Okay, so here's the core of it. We, as humans, are good with names. Computers, they only care about numbers. DNS is basically the universal translator that sits right in the middle. You type in a name that makes sense to you, DNS goes and finds the number that makes sense to the computer, and boom, you're connected. It's the essential directory that makes the whole internet work for us.
But, that phone book analogy only gets us so far. Because inside a private company network, it's a whole different ballgame. You're not just looking up public websites. You're trying to navigate this private, internal world. And for that, a better way to think about it is like a private GPS.
And that's a really fair question. I mean, if the public DNS can find any website on the planet, why would a company bother building its own private one? Why not just use what's already there?
Well, here's the deal. Businesses have tons of internal devices. We're talking servers, printers, file shares, things you definitely do not want just hanging out on the public internet. A private DNS server maps out this internal world securely, making sure only the right people can find and get to the right stuff.
And this is where it gets really clever for businesses. They integrate DNS with something called Active Directory. Just think of Active Directory as the company's digital bouncer. It manages all the users, who's allowed where, all the security rules. When DNS is tied into that, your network's address book becomes this smart, living, breathing system.
Let's make this super real, because this happens every single time you log into your work computer. First up, your PC pings the internal DNS and says, hey, I need a login server. Then, in step 2, DNS instantly fires back with the number, the IP address for a server that's ready to go. And finally, step 3, your PC connects, confirms it's you, and just like that, you're in. All of this happens securely in a blink of an eye every single day.
Okay, so that's the foundation of how DNS works. But tech doesn't sit still for anyone. So the big question is, what's next? Let's take a look at what Windows Server 2025 is bringing to the table. So the new stuff really boils down to 3 main pillars. First, and this is a big one, bridging the gap between your local office network and the cloud. Second, seriously beefing up security to handle modern threats. And third, just making the whole system faster and more flexible for today's crazy, demanding world. I love this quote because it just nails it. It perfectly captures why these new security features are so important. I mean, think about it. With cyber attacks happening all the time, making sure your digital address book hasn't been messed with, that's not just a nice feature anymore, it's an absolute necessity.
And here's the cool part. This is how that tamper-proof seal actually works. With DNSSEC, every answer that comes from your address book gets a unique digital signature. It's like a seal of authenticity. This proves the information is legit and hasn't been changed, which makes it incredibly difficult for a hacker to trick you and send you to some malicious website. But out of all the new stuff, the one that's a real game changer is how Server 2025 is tearing down the walls between the office and the cloud.
This really is the big one. For years, you had your on-premise network over here and the cloud way over there, and they were treated like 2 separate worlds. Server 2025 is designed to smash that wall, creating one unified hybrid network. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, in the old on-premise world, your resource access was stuck with just your local servers. Your ability to scale was limited by whatever hardware you could afford to buy, and management was totally siloed. But now look at the right. In the hybrid world, you get access to local and cloud resources. You have nearly infinite room to grow, and you can manage everything from a single, unified place. It is a massive leap forward. So how does it actually pull this off? Well, it unlocks 2 really powerful tricks. First, your local network can now send questions it doesn't know the answer to straight up to the Azure cloud for help. But even more powerfully, you can set up a 2-way sync.
This keeps your internal address book and your cloud address book in perfect harmony, creating one seamless unified network.
Okay, so we've talked a lot of tech. What does this all actually mean for a business, day to day? Let's connect these features back to the real world.
This table is a great summary. Let's look at the use cases. For just basic internal name resolution, Server 2025 gives you that secure, integrated system for the seamless logins we talked about. For hybrid networking, it creates that effortless bridge to the cloud. And if you're hosting both public and private resources, it gives you one single, robust system to manage the whole shebang.
And when you step back, you see the real goal here. All of this, the security, the performance, the hybrid integration, it's all driving towards this one thing: creating one unified, manageable, and secure system for the way we work now, in a world without borders. And that changes everything.
Which leaves us with a pretty deep final thought. As the lines between our office and the cloud completely dissolve, DNS isn't just a phone book anymore. It's the system that knows where everything is, and by extension, who we are and what we're allowed to access. So you have to wonder, is DNS becoming the new backbone of our entire digital identity? Something to think about.